Welcome to the Green Beret Life. This is the SCIF. I am Matt. That is Stu. We are a 501c3. If you would like to know more about us, you can, well, we do training. That's what we do. We do training primarily. It's for veterans. We try to get veterans out into the outdoors and get them into stuff for free. And that's what we do. We do our podcast once a week, which is the SCIF, which is this right here. We do it on YouTube and Rumble and Odysee. We break away from YouTube because why, Stu? Why do we break away from YouTube?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, they're such an upstanding paragon of free speech and, creator empowerment. Oh, wait, no, that's Rumble. I'm sorry. YouTube sucks. That's why.
YouTube sucks. That's it right there. So YouTube sucks for the same reasons that Stu was just mentioning. You can't speak freely on here, and we all know this. Most of the people that are here understand this. But anyways, we love involvement from all of you guys. So keep it up and invite new people to come and join the conversation. We learn as much from you as we do scouring for news stories. To be honest with you, you guys are the people who watch this show, Stu, are probably as educated as anybody out there in the arena. To be honest with you,
yeah, there have definitely been points made and stories brought up that really have fleshed out the topics we're discussing, where they're bringing in information and stuff that I haven't seen, or bringing up kind of angles on it that I've not thought of, and I've actually gone and looked into some of the stuff that they've brought up later to double check and see for myself where they're seeing it, where it's coming from.
Well, this show's more of it's more of a conversation with you guys, and taking center stage as well. So we want to keep it that way. So we appreciate the participation and whatever we're doing. We appreciate the comments, and keep them coming. What stories do we got tonight, Stu?
We've got several different things here, kind of running the gamut from local things to some things going on in the Ukraine, and things we thought were done and gone are rearing their ugly heads. And that's the thing, a lie will find its way out. You can try and hide it, you can try and bury it, but it turns into telltale heart. It keeps ticking, it finds its way out. And we have things coming out now where it looks as though database manipulation was done to hide key documents from the investigators that were actually investigating the Trump-Russia hoax. Looks like the FBI was manipulating the database to hide information. So basically, whenever a search would be run, these files would be restricted or be altered to where they would not show up in the database query.
Well, we kind of knew this before, and it was talked about before, but now we have verification because the good guys are in charge, and more and more is coming out. And it's not just going to be restricted to this, guys. There's a lot more to this than just the Russia collusion hoax. There's a lot to this. A lot of things have been hidden. Money is one of them. You're starting to see a lot of stories now, Stu. Did you see this? Bono was on Joe Rogan talking about all of this food that's rotting around the world. That was part of, he was calling it USAID, right?
AID,
and they can't get it because everybody was fired and it's just rotting there. And Joe Rogan has to school him and said, look, dude, he says, that was an organization. USAID was an organization used to hide money and to funnel money into we had no idea where that money was going. And we do know that in the final weeks of the Biden administration, after Trump had won, tens of billions of dollars were spent and to places that we don't even know what the hell they are. So it was just like a big flush out of money everywhere to all four corners of the globe. And, it shows that these people, that you repeat the lie, like you were already saying, you repeat the lie long enough, people start to know it. You create a narrative. You have a dishonest media push the narrative that's propagandist, which is what they are. And you fool a bunch of rubes. The sad thing is you might fool some of the people that are honestly looking to get information and don't know any better, right? Because they're not paying as close attention.
Yep. And speaking of the media, that's one of the stories we're going to cover here, where the Washington Post has a headline discussing, quote, a mysterious decrease in fentanyl at the border. They're unable to make that connection. Well, I shouldn't say unable. They're unwilling to make the connection.
Exactly.
So it's a mystery, man.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Why have we seen such a big drop off in fentanyl? It makes no sense. Maybe because the border has been shut down 99% to what it was a year ago, right? Yeah, maybe that would affect the fentanyl flow across the frickin' border. I mean, how frickin' stupid.
We've got the autopen inquiry is gaining momentum. There's a DOJ attorney that is doing some digging into this. And the biggest story, and probably the worst story that we have, is this attack that happened in Boulder.
Egyptian national. Yeah. And we've also got the attack, the drone attack on these Russian aircraft as well in there.
The Ukraine.
So, but we're going to discuss this because none of this makes any sense whatsoever. I watched. There's
a lot going on in the Ukraine where it just it's like trying to fit a square peg into the round hole. What happens, and it doesn't match their capabilities. It's like you don't have the capability to do that. The kind of thing.
It's like that the Ukrainians, through their ingenuity, put together a bunch of drones and were able to take a strike because we're not giving them the hardware anymore, and they were able to find a way to take a strike and cause massive damage to Russia. Right? This is so much bullshit. If anybody believes that the Ukraine did this on their own, you are a rube. In fact, it's so funny because I was watching Newsmax, which I really like. I like Newsmax. But I was watching this guy, had this security company. He's an ex-SEAL officer, right? Gets on. He was like almost giddy over this, talking about the ingenuity and this and that. And I'm like, does this guy really think that this is the deep state trying to keep this war going? This is the deep state trying to escalate this war. And do you think that the Ukrainians did that on their own? You're a freaking moron. He's an ex-SEAL. He should know better. And I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with these freaking people, that are supposedly, supposed to be on top of this? He's obviously got a good publicist because he was able to get on Newsmax, right? Yeah. And, with his bona fides of being an ex-SEAL officer, but he's a complete rube. So I'm not going to name his name, but it's just stupid. Anyways.
Yep. Well, there's a user over on YouTube. It looks like it's Josie.
Oh, Josie.
Yep.
Josie's on YouTube now. Is Josie over on Rumble yet? I'm
not sure, but he's going to have to be here soon because we're going to be moving in a few minutes over to Rumble exclusively. And there is a link. I know Josie's got a link. I know he's over. I don't think it's under Josie though. So if Josie can respond to that, let us know. If not, we got a link, right, Stu? Yeah, he says he doesn't yet, but he will. And yes, there's a link in the description below that should take you directly to the Rumble channel. So we normally
Josie has been a part of this. Josie's been a part of this show from the very, very beginning. So we'd love to have Josie back. He took a hiatus for a little while, so we love having Josie back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, he's asking about Max.
Max is right here behind me, doing excellent. He's excellent. He comes in here and takes a nap when I do this. And I was telling Stu this, as soon as we do the goodbyes and everything, he knows the words and everything and gets up because we usually go for a walk after. So and then he gets something to take the edge off after he comes back in and rests from the walk for a little while. So he needs a little snack at the end of the day.
Getting through the night.
Yeah. Yeah, just to take that edge off so it, calm his nerves a little bit. He needs a little something to eat. Like an egg sandwich or some shit.
Something.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, whoever we have over here on YouTube, Josie, and it looks like we may have another viewer or two on, please come over to Rumble. We use YouTube to kind of launch the show and pull people over to Rumble where we have more freedom to discuss things without worried about strikes or marks or anything else. So, well,
thank you for joining us on YouTube. Please come and join us over on Rumble. The link is below. Come and join and take part over at Rumble. We can speak freely there. We can't do it here. If we do it here, they not only will strike this show, but they'll dig into everything going back and try to kank the whole channel off of YouTube.
Yep, they'll wind up nuking the whole channel because the thing that YouTube will do is they'll go back to a show from 2 years ago that something that was said may violate a rule that was made 6 weeks ago and use that as an excuse for violation and strike. So it's all garbage. It's all it's all pain in the ass, but we do what we got to do.
It's a complete pain in the ass. So thank you for joining us on YouTube. Please come over and join us on Rumble and take part in the conversation over there.
Yep. We'll see you guys on Rumble. We'll be there in just a minute.